Great morning, everyone. How are you all doing? Hey, this your girl Shan. I hope your day is starting off right as you prepare to do whatever it is that you have to do for today. Thank you, as I say every Tuesday, for joining us last night on Marriage Mondays with the Kings. That was a real show. Thank you so much. We truly appreciate it. Like I say every Tuesday, from the bottom of our heart, the support that we receive with being on the mission that God has us on. Okay, now today I'm gonna tell a little bit on myself. I'm gonna tell a little bit on my husband. I'm gonna tell a little bit on us. Good morning, Cousin Kim. But I'm going to speak about danger. Be careful of your spouse's intuition. And for those of you who are single, this may help with the future marriage that you may have, that God may allow you to have. Good morning, Simone. So one thing that I like is the gift. I believe it's a gift that God gives us when it comes to our marriage. And that is your spouse's intuition. Now, some of you all may not agree, but our spouses, and I've said this before, can see things that we can't see. That's just like family members. If you have a certain family member that's going down the wrong path and you're sitting up like, I don't think this is going to turn out well. This ain't looking too good. Because sometimes we can be so naive to that which is right in front of our face that when somebody tells us different, we get upset about it. Hey, Angela. So I'm going to start off real quick. I got to give a couple of examples so you can really understand where I'm coming from. But I thank God for this intuition that he's given our spouses. But before I get into the example, good morning, Jenny, I will say this. If you are guilty of this, because me and my husband always teach that you have to examine yourself first. If you desire for your marriage to be better, if you desire for your relationship to be better, you have to examine yourself first. So if you are guilty of what I am about to say, one thing with this leads to a whole bunch of arguments in your marriage. A whole bunch of unnecessary arguments in your marriage. Or you may say, why does it seem like we keep going through the same thing over and over and over again? Like the word of God say, he sends warning before the storm. He sends warning before destruction. So just because you married to your spouse, don't mean you can't listen to the warnings. If anything, we should listen to the warnings of our spouses. Unless our spouses are ones that are touchy, they just be jumping off at the brink of just for stupid stuff, if I can be honest. Now, let me go ahead and give you these good old examples. So before me and my husband had got married, right? I was dating this guy. And me and my husband were friends, before we started dating, before we got married or whatever, but I was dating this guy. And I was stationed in Germany at the time, and I was about to get ready to come back on leave to the United States. It was my oldest son's birthday. I wanted to spend time for him for his birthday and stuff. I want to say no, that was before I deployed. So anywho, so I was coming back, and then one of the other things I was going to do was go visit my boyfriend. And so my friend at the time, because he wasn't my husband, he was like, can I talk to you about something and you won't get upset? And I was like, yeah, what's up? Because I was a real chill chick or whatever. So I said, what's up? He was like, can I have you think about something? I said, what is that? He was like, so I'm not trying to, it's not throw shade. I forgot what we used to say back in 97, 98. But basically he was like, I'm not trying to throw your boyfriend under the bus. I don't know him. He said, but, he's in college, right? I said, yeah. Now, me with my young, loyal self, I was the type of chick, if I was with you, I was with you. I didn't do all that cheating and all this other kind of stuff. He was like, what do you think he's doing in college? I'm like, well, he going to school and this, that, and the other. And he was like, do you think it's possible that he has somebody else? I'm like, no. I was like, because we've been dating, for a little bit, whatever the case may be. Well, he was like, well, I just want you to be careful. I don't want you to be hurting. I said, well, thank you for the concern. I'm not going to lie. In my mind, I'm thinking, oh, this joker right here, yeah, he's shady. I was like, you shady. How you just going to throw this man at the bus? And I'm thinking, you crazy. But I was like, whatever. But I didn't tell him that. So long story short, I go home. When I go home, I'm getting ready to fly up to see my boyfriend because he lived up north or whatever from where I live. And I get this phone call. Well, long story short, with the phone call, he was calling to tell me that his best friend, which was a female, which I knew her and everything like that she was pregnant. So my ignorant butt is like, oh, congratulations. Oh, tell her I said, congratulations. I'm so happy for her. And all this. And he was like, what's something else I got to tell you? I said, what? He said, it's my baby. I'm like, what? I was so hurt because I was so loyal. But people can see things that you can't. And what we tend to do is when the truth comes out, we get upset. We want to snap off at the person when the person, only thing they was trying to do was help us. I've done that, like, talking about what I've been through in my younger years. And for those who've been listening to me, you know, my husband for some time, you know what I'm talking about. I won't go all into it. But I can pick up on people who are really lusty. And I believe that's because of what happened to me when I was a child. Good morning, Keela. So I can pick up on people that are really lusty. And so if a situation, I know I'm going to be around certain individuals and I know they mad lusty, even though they hiding it. And what the old folks say is the lusty spirit. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it said, and not to get too far off the cuff, but that's why it said, don't force your children on everybody. That's the thing that me and my husband always say when you're single. Because, baby, it's something in these kids. And the old folks used to say that. It's something in these kids where they can pick up on a true person and you can't. And so, for me, to this day, when I go around somebody, my husband's been knowing this about me because it was some things I had to share. I didn't want him to think I was too spiritually spooky deep. But God has gifted me with some things that when I go around people, my husband can read my face. He said, I'm like, you know. And so, I don't say it to everybody, but he knows. And so, it was situations where us as wives, let me go ahead and be real. Husbands too now. But I can only speak from a wife's perspective right now. Us as wives, we can pick up on when another chick ain't no good about our husbands. But then the husbands will turn around and say, oh, you jealous. Oh, you tripping. Oh, I don't understand why every time I get around a female and you ain't around, you acting some kind of way. Well, no, technically it's not every time, but it's those times when the females ain't up to no good. And you can sit up here and call it straight out and you tell them just what it is. And then when that truth comes out, but that's something we had to deal with in our marriage. Everybody, I'm going to say everybody, but a lot of people wanted to attach themselves to my husband. And I'll be like, bruh, now that bride right there, she da-da-da-da-da. And he like, she not like that. She nice, she sweet. As y'all can see, this was a lot of our arguments when we used to argue in our marriage. She nice, she sweet. She ain't like that, da-da-da. And I'm like, I'm telling you, and I can't tell y'all what I told him because, you know, it ain't holy. But I'm like, I'm telling you, she a gardening tool. She out there for herself. That's all that it is. And she's attaching herself to you. He's like, nah, she ain't doing it. I'm like, okay, bruh. And then it will come out where that will be the situation. Even with the last female I was about to get with in 2014. And see, this is what I like about God. I want us to recognize this as husbands and wives. If your spouse come to you and tell you something and you know they don't usually trip about stuff like that, you might want to heed the warning before the destruction. But sometimes what we do is we don't want to hear it because we think what we see is right. And what ends up happening is we end up burning ourselves in the long run and we're causing unnecessary havoc in our marriage. So I encourage us to take heed to our spouse's intuition. My husband may say, oh, baby, whether it be male or female, that joker right there, he be like, nope, or whatever. And now I be like, oh, okay, yeah. But in the beginning, well, he was the same way. No, I don't even want to hear it. So we can tell and we can see things that our spouses cannot see. So spouses, I need you to understand, if you are guilty of this, I don't give a John Brown if it's family. I've seen family when it comes to people's marriage because you don't want to let your family member go and they married and they living their life or whatever. I've seen family members to where they're set up and they try to come in between the marriage. They try to always start riffraff. They make the person that their family members married to out to be the enemy and stuff like that. And what people tend to do is they'll side with their family who is sometimes up to no good instead of siding with the person that they marry with. And then when they divorce, because I've seen this as well, what ends up happening is that family member end up losing the best spouse that they probably ever had in the world, all because of jealousy of their family. I've seen it in family. I've seen it in people that's try to step in between people's marriages. We have to understand, and me and my grandma was just talking about this, and I say this all the time. We was recently talking about this. Nothing can come between your marriage unless the husband or the wife allow it to. Nobody else on the outside, I don't care if it's family, friend, or foe, can come in between your marriage. But I need us as married individuals to heed. If your spouse, they feel, because now my husband, I be like, He could just feel without me even saying anything. I'm like, yeah, that one right there. And I don't be judging people. I can feel the lust spirits within them. And sometimes when it gets so strong, I ask my husband, baby, can you come with me? And he like, what's going on? What's up? I'm like, oh, because I'm about to be in the presence of so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so. I was like, that's too much lustedness in one room for me. Not to say that the person would even do anything or try anything with me. But it's just, I would feel more comfortable if my husband's present. And see, that right there can avert a lot of unnecessary arguments in your marriage. Baby, come on. Just like my husband when he was in the military. His soldiers would call him at 2 o'clock in the morning. Maybe somebody had some suicidal situations or whatever and stuff like that. My husband like, babe, I need you to, I know it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I need you to go ahead and get your clothes on and come on with me because we about to go da-da-da-da. And he do what he had to do as a military supervisor or, you know, whatever the case, a leader in the military. And I was right there to cover his back. So that way that individual couldn't come back on my husband and say, well, Sergeant King tried this with me. Oh, he tried to do that with me because it's just the two of them. But see, a lot of times, people don't like to do that because, oh, you act like I can't handle the situation. No, it's not that. You need to have your spouse present sometime in situations for insurance policy, baby. Because if I'm present, one thing you're not going to be able to do is come back and allow my husband, tell me my husband tried to do anything. You know what I'm saying? With you. But we don't think like that. So I need us to readjust our mindsets. If we're going to safeguard our marriages, that God-given intuition that God has blessed our spouse with, we need to listen to that because it will save us and keep us out of a whole bunch of trouble and unnecessary arguing. And like I was saying about them babies, don't be forcing them babies on people. I'm telling you, especially when they little, when they barely walking and stuff like that, baby, let somebody come around, they start screaming their head off. You might want to pay attention to that, especially if that's not how your baby is. Now, if your baby be yelling about everybody, then that's a whole different story. But if your baby's sweet and loving and cuddling and all that, then all of a sudden somebody come around, they screaming at the top of their lungs, baby, I'm telling you, it's something that they picking up in that person that you can't see. You think that person is cool. And once I told my husband when our daughter did that, baby, our daughter did that. My husband was like, I don't understand it. Even the guy was like, why does she yell every time I come around? And it was on 3 different occasions. Our daughter did that and she was little. And by the time we got back to the States, we seen that individual again. But in between that time, that joker had been to jail for some stuff he didn't have no business doing. So we need to take heed to the intuitions that other people see, that God has blessed them to see, and listen to the warning before destruction, before we end up destroying our marriages and our relationships in the process. So I don't know who I'm talking to on the day. I don't know who this is for, but I'm telling you, especially if you single and you got children, okay? Quit forcing your babies on this person that you trying to date because you want to make it look like you got a lovely little family situation going on. No, you probably about to get involved with somebody you ain't got no business getting involved with, or you'll sit up here and you'll find out, and God forbid your child to end up like I was when I was little because of some situations that went forth that no, we are to protect, okay? So don't be trying to, oh, babe, boo, and all this stuff for social media. Baby, it ain't even worth it, especially when it comes to y'all's children. So go ahead and have a blessed day. Don't let anybody steal your joy. Share this because it's free. Be a blessing, not a curse. Your girl gonna be back with you on tomorrow with some truth. Whatever God put on my heart, I'll be back. God bless.